Go ahead and do a roll call, please.
Okay, excuse me, Vice Chairman Ms. Bagel. Commissioner Farrett,
Here.
Commissioner Hyman, Commissioner O'Connor,
Here.
Commissioner Spoden,
Here.
Mayor Schweikert,
Here.
Alderman Pellerito, and Chairman Buell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thanks. Our next item is approval of agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Next is approval of the meeting minutes from December 3rd, 2020.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Our next item is public comment. This is an opportunity for any of you that are attending that have an issue that you want to discuss with planning and zoning, related to planning and zoning, but not on tonight's agenda. So the two items that we already have public hearings for, you'll have a chance to speak during those specific periods. But if you have something else that you wanted to bring up, this is your opportunity. So we'll just open up the floor. If you're using your computer, you can use the raise hand function in Zoom to let us know that you want to speak. And I believe it's *9, I think. And Louis, you can correct me if I'm wrong, for if they want to let us know if they're on the phone.
Yeah, you're right. It's *6 to raise your hand. Oh, sorry, it's *9. And then it's *6 to unmute.
Okay. So anybody have anything that they needed to discuss with the commission that's not already on tonight's agenda? All right, we will move forward then to our first public hearing. That is the Waterways of Lake St. Louis. It's an amended preliminary development plan, site plan review, and special use permit. Consideration of a request by Joe Scott III, applicant on behalf of Scott Brothers Investment Corporation, owner, for the construction of three single-family homes in the waterways of Lake St. Louis.
Yes. My name's Doug Tiemann. I'm an engineer with Pickett Ray and Silver, and I am here representing Joe Scott III. What he's proposing to do is very well outlined in the staff report that was prepared by Louis. He is proposing to build 3 single-family homes that will be for rent homes in the Waterways development. It's in the very rear portion of the development in phase 2A, which is currently under construction with apartment buildings. And there's an area near the cul-de-sac at the end where he is going to be proposing to build these homes. He gets a number of requests for furnished houses that people are moving into or want to move into that are working for companies, and he has provided that in the apartments with furnished apartments, but he is now trying to provide that need with a single family home. Each single family home will have a 2-car garage and a driveway that'll hold 2 vehicles, so they'll be able to park 4 vehicles at each home. They also are going to be very similar in the style of the existing apartments, the brick, the roof, the shingles, all those items will look very similar to the existing apartments that he has built there. And he's proposing to do this and meet the needs. We have already submitted this to the fire district. They have came back and told us they are comfortable with the way we have arranged the driveways, and we have a hammerhead turnaround. at the end of that that allows a truck to come in and turn around. There's a number of walkways adjacent to this, and it will be part of the apartment development. These will not be on separate lots. They're all on the same land as the apartments. And I'll be happy to answer any questions. I might be able to, or you might be able to show a map if we need to of the site.
Any of the commissioners have any questions for Doug?
And this may either be for Doug or it could be for Louis. So originally this area was planned for apartments, and now instead of apartments, you're requesting to put in 3 single family homes.
Correct. It was, what it was originally developed as was apartments, but it is a planned unit district. So it's a PUD. So
Okay.
that's why we're back in front of the board, is because this was not what was originally planned on this. Originally planned was, if I remember correctly, like 696 apartment units on the entire tract. And as I said, he's got an area where it works. It doesn't work as well for an apartment building. It works better for single homes, and that's what he's proposing to build there.
Okay. And I don't really see an issue with it because this is of course much less dense than an apartment building would be.
It is, and they're all, I didn't say it, but they're all single story homes. He's saying they're 4 bedrooms, but they're really designed to be 3 bedrooms and then have an office in them. Because that again is who he's trying to rent these to, is to somebody that wants to have an office in the house. So he set them up to do that. The same architect that designed the apartment complex buildings designed these buildings and used the same types of materials.
Thanks. Thanks, Doug.
And so the mayor mentioned density. So that's my question, Doug. I know we had a maximum number of units that we had authorized on that property. Does this diminish that, or does this simply move that density elsewhere on the property? Are they still going to look for the same number of units? These are just going to be 3 of them.
It's difficult to give you an exact answer. He still is discussing how to develop the area south of what I'll call the creek line next to the I guess it's Andrews Academy or whatever that's called there. He owns a strip of land that was part of this original development that is there. That was originally also designed for apartment buildings to be placed on that. He has a maximum that he can't exceed by ordinance back in early, I'm going to say early 2000 or something, when that ordinance came in. It specified the number. He can't exceed that number. What he's trying to decide is if this is a market he wants to kind of approach and may consider this type of development on the remaining piece. He's going to see how this goes. So I can't really say other than we won't exceed the maximum amount on there. And he doesn't have a whole lot of acreage left on the south side of the creek.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that was basically my question is, if we're going to put 3 units on there, whatever the max, we'll just throw a number out. Let's say you thought you could build 100 more units on the property. You build these 3, are you still going to build 97? You're just going to squeeze them in to a smaller piece than you would have otherwise.
Well, and the answer to that is this is on the north side. So the north side of the creek area. So we don't know for sure, but I don't believe he's going to be able to get the total amount on the south side that we originally had planned for. But as I said, he's trying a little bit of a test of the market to see if this is successful, and this might be something that he wants to continue with. So I don't know how many units are we gonna be put on the remaining south side.
Okay. Any other questions from any of the commissioners?
I was wondering about the lot size for these. Are they going to be within our rules for the homes? The
Each,
lot sizes?
they actually do not even, they're not gonna be placed on a lot. They are a single family home, but they are on the entire tract of land. So it's similar to an apartment building. They do not have a lot and they aren't carved out. They won't be for sale. They're part of the entire development. So they actually, to answer your question, they don't have a lot size. They're part of that entire tract.
Right. Any other questions from the commission?
This is Rhonda. So I have a question specifically about, it definitely sounds like this is just kind of a test market type of thing, because it's kind of, when I looked at this, I thought this is really odd that you would put these kind of smack dab in the middle of the apartment complex where they are. Because, he does have other land to kind of separate them, but is the intention, and I don't know what the market analysis shows, but other than he's getting inquiries, is the success of this just based on these 3 homes? Because I kind of feel like if we approve this and then it's not successful, then we have 3 homes in the middle of an apartment complex. But on the other hand, if it's successful, it could be, kind of take out the rest of the property, which would probably be a better fit. So I'm kind of worried about the future of like what would happen depending on the way this goes. And I guess that's a concern of mine, and not necessarily a comment for you to answer, but that is a concern.
Let me say, just give you a little background information, not particularly about this. We have done a very similar type project that's now it's going into they haven't started construction. They're going to try to break ground in the spring in O'Fallon, and they're going to build 128 single family homes on one tract of land. Very similar in the type and style, because there has been a demand for this, and we've actually done some more of these in the area, and people, I guess it's kind of more like a condo, but now you don't actually even own the home, the interior of it, and it seems to be the way that people are kind of going for right now. So we're seeing this. We're seeing it in other communities. We're seeing it in, we've seen it in Moscow Mills, and we've seen it in the city of O'Fallon.
Thanks, Doug. Any other questions from the commission? All right, Louis, anything from staff?
Not really. Just noting that this is a planned development, so there's flexibility to allow these types of arrangements that wouldn't necessarily be allowed in other zoning districts the way our code is structured now. But there's only 3 homes proposed, and their location is tucked away behind these existing apartment buildings. So I don't anticipate any negative impacts associated with those. And staff is recommending approval.
All right, anybody have any questions for Louis? All right, then we will open it up to the public hearing portion. For the public, if you want to ask a question, again, if you're on your computer, use the raised hand feature in Zoom. If you are on the phone, *9 to let us know that you want to speak or you want to either make a statement or ask a question.
Harrison, this is Barry Beresford. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Barry.
I apologize, I couldn't find the raise the hand feature. I wanted to comment, I know you all had deferred the 1290 North Hankey discussion. Is that correct?
It's
That's
the
the
next-
next item.
It's the next item on the agenda.
Oh,
after this.
okay. I can wait and comment on it when it comes up then.
All right, thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything? Are you seeing any raised hands or anything, Louis?
There is one phone number with a raised hand, 636-697-4105.
Yeah, that's me. My name is Steve Bruin. I live in the I live behind the vacant field right now that they've been dumping dirt on the other side of that tree line where the creek goes. Are they planning on building there?
Go ahead, Doug, if you can speak to that.
Sure, I can. Unfortunately, I can't show you a map of the location, but where it is it's not in the existing creek or the existing tree line in the creek. It is closer to the existing apartment buildings. It kind of comes up and kind of tucks behind the last apartment building that they're building in the cul-de-sac right now. That is building 51, but it kind of tucks in behind that and it kind of goes to the north and to the east. But to answer your question, it's not in that creek area, and that finger of that creek was not, it was not a blue line stream. There is a blue line stream on the property that is adjacent to it to the south, but this area is not, but we're not into the creek area, and this pad is already, there's no trees on it. It has been kind of leveled off and filled up. If you can see into the property, it's almost, I'll explain it as almost due west of the cul-de-sac.
All right, and sir, I'm sorry, can we get your address just for our records? Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'm at 137 Dardine Landing Court, which is, there's a field right behind me, which I'm between there and the Andrews Academy. Now, the tree line that's over there, they've been dumping truckloads of dirt from almost the front of the back of my lot all the way back to the other tree line. What are they going to do with all that dirt?
Doug, go ahead.
Yes, if they've been dumping that, they've been dumping material as they've been building those apartment buildings, and I know they've been dumping dirt on that side. Ultimately, that southern, if you're talking about the southern side of the creek, that will be developed. We don't know, as I was talking about earlier, I don't know if that's going to be how it's going to be developed at this point, but it was originally planned to be apartment units on that south side of that creek that is adjacent to the Andrews Academy.
Okay.
And I would be happy to, I would be happy to send you a drawing if you can send me an email or get in touch with me. I'll be happy to send you a drawing and show you the location of these proposed units. And I can give you my email.
That'd be great.
Okay, it is pretty simple. It's Doug at PRS3.com. That's the number 3, Doug at PRS3.com.
Okay, and my name is Steve Bruin, so if you get something from Landing 137, that would be me.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Louis, any other
I
raised
appreciate
hands?
it.
I don't see any other raised hands.
Sorry, was that a yes?
No more raised hands.
Okay. All right, then we will close the public hearing and move on to the business portion. Anyone want to make a motion on this proposal?
Sure, I'll do it. I move to recommend approval on the requested amended preliminary development plan, site plan review, and special use permit to the Board of Aldermen as submitted.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any of the commissioners have any comments or anything on this?
No, I'm just going to add, Pearson, as we've been looking at a lot of the development in the city, there is a real need, not just in the city, the county also, for rental property. And so I can understand why there might be people that would want something more like a home than an apartment building. And as Doug was saying, it's not like they're going to own that property. This will still be rentals. It's not like we're going to turn it around and make it home. So there probably is a market out there, just with what houses cost these days and everything else, and especially in St. Charles County, I can see that the rental market would really be booming.
Anybody hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Sorry, I just got in. I had problems getting in. I don't know what happened. I'm behind. I don't know where you're at.
I just made a recommendation to approve the preliminary development plan, site plan. That's for the 3 individual rental homes on
The waterways?
the waterways. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, okay. I didn't have a whole lot of problem with that when I read through it. Seemed to be okay. I just had a question. You may have already done this because I haven't been on. What will they be used for?
Yeah, those are going to be rentals. They're just going to be like apartments, like anything
Just like
else on the
apartment?
property. It's
Okay.
just going to be, in the form of a house, but it's going to be rented just like an apartment would be rented.
I see. Then I don't have any particular problem with the process.
All right. Any other comments from the commission? All right, then we will call the question, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right,
Any opposed? All right, that recommendation is approved. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, our next item is
Pearson, you're on mute.
I don't know if he
sorry.
realizes that.
Was there a comment? Did I miss
You were
something?
on mute, Pearson.
Couldn't hear you.
Oh,
We couldn't
sorry.
hear you.
All right, we'll try it again. 1290 North Hinkey Road, preliminary subdivision plat for consideration of a request by Mark Schlemeyer, applicant owner for the development of a single-family residential subdivision with 5 lots.
yeah.
Is there an
I-
applicant here to speak to this?
Hi, I'm representing the applicant. This is Jim Piper from St. Charles Engineering.
Hi, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, we are proposing to create 5 lots essentially. So we don't have a house yet. The property, from my understanding, is still in marketing, trying to sell. But as a result of the zoning change that is happening right now, the property owner wanted to subdivide this into 5 compliant lots prior to that.
Yeah.
So it's just a short cul-de-sac street with 5 lots per the zoning at the time. Everybody is aware that it will only be good for so long. And then it's not going to hang out for 5 years. That is not possible. But essentially, we do not have a house, single family. So the house would be designed per requirements to fit the lot because the lot is already there. So we're proposing 5 lots with a water quality feature in the rear. We have a wall behind the water quality feature. It kind of makes up elevation allows us to create the feature and separates the site water from the water that's currently running down that low point.
All right, thanks, Jim. Any commissioners have any questions for Jim?
Well, I have some comments. This is, as Lewis noted in the agenda, there are many, many things that have to happen before this can be built. The biggest of all, though, is the development of North Hankey Road, which is a poor road at best. And we get, as aldermen, we get many, many complaints from the residents over there. The road's too narrow, the curves are too narrow. There's no room, there's really no room for construction vehicles go up and down that road. There has been in the past, and it's been very, and the residents complain vehemently about those sorts of things. I don't know how they can get this done with that road and all the construction vehicles they have to go up and down that road.
And John, this might be a question either for you, John, or Lewis. Is this the one also where there's that turn in there that's a big issue? I see a partial turn, couple little turns. I don't know if I see the entire road here on the plat picture.
Well, there's two curves involved in the road, and both of them are very narrow. And there's really for large vehicles that wouldn't be necessary to accomplish anything. There's really not safe passage going up and down. And that on top of all the things that would have to happen before this thing could even get off the ground, it's I don't know. I'm not really in favor of it.
All right, any other commissioners with questions for the applicant?
I don't know if this would be for the applicant or for Lewis. Lewis, what has Public Works said about having this development and having the equipment come in if they think that road can handle it?
So I talked with Derek just a little bit about the street condition as part of this request. And I did note in the staff report that, we acknowledge that there's been historically been a lot of concerns from residents on the road, particularly with passing delivery trucks and vehicles going towards the stables, which is at the end of North Hankey.
Mm-hmm.
So the city does have a plan to do some minor improvements to those curves to alleviate some of those concerns, more focused on giving extra pavement on the curves themselves to give a little more maneuvering space. It won't necessarily address any sight distance issues, but it's kind of meant as a short-term fix. And according to Derek, the city is in the process of acquiring easements and property for that project, and construction is listed for 2022 and 2023.
Okay, thank you.
So that might address some concerns, but again, it is a narrow, somewhat windy road that probably isn't meant to serve a lot of traffic. But again, this is only adding 5 lots to take that into perspective.
Another question, and I don't think we have anyone on from Public Works. I noticed here that Derek recommends that there would be like some kind of retention basin for these lots, and I don't know if that's something that has been considered by the applicant.
I actually can't speak to that. I guess there would need to be some coordination between an engineer designing the plan. Currently it's me working on it, and Derek. But if you pave every square foot of buildable area, you do not exceed the requirement. So it might be close, it might be a concern, but per the city rules of increase, 2 CFS increase, you could pave every single square foot of buildable area on all 5 lots and still be under that 2. And I've included that on the plan now. So it's not a conceivable future. I don't see how that is a future. It wouldn't be allowed.
And the issue on the sanitary sewer, now, is this something that you would wait to see if you had approval? I know that they said there could be an issue with the low pressure, and it was something that would need coordination with PWSD #2. Is that something you just wait and see if this was approved? Or I don't know if you spoke to them about that.
We could submit conceptually. So it is a low pressure sewer. It will not gravity drain. It is below the lowest flow line main. So we would have to, the construction plans would have to include a low pressure force main for all 5 lots. And all it's really doing is pushing it across the street, well, up the street, 20 feet. It is not the worst force main I've seen, but it would not gravity drain. Those have been approved by Duckett, several locations especially, but we do not have any correspondence at this moment. We certainly could. We could probably do that in the next couple of weeks even.
And this, I don't know, Louis, if you know this, is this similar to what's in Key Harbor? Is it a grinder pump system?
I believe so. There are a couple of these in the city. They're not too common.
There are some. Okay.
But we have had some issues with them. Those grinder pumps failing, and those cause issues. So we just wanted to make sure that the sewer district was comfortable with approving these before the city granted their approval, which would create new lots. So we didn't want to create an issue with having lots that might not be able to be served by sewers.
I wouldn't think there'd be any problem with us obtaining a preliminary conceptual approval from Duckett Creek. Might take a couple weeks, but I think we could definitely do that.
Is this Duckett Creek or is it PWSD?
It's PWSD too.
I apologize. Public water sewer, correct.
Okay. I just didn't know of any area that had Duckett Creek in.
Too many projects. I apologize.
No, that's okay. No, that's fine.
Louis has an arborist been out there because they've got to take quite a bit of their tree line out, right? And then replace it.
Yeah, so they're removing just over 70% of the existing tree canopy.
Yeah.
In conformance with our code, they would have to submit a tree preservation plan and a tree stand delineation, which studied the trees and showed their protection measures. That would all have to be done and approved at a staff level and reviewed by the arborist before they start any grading or site work.
Yeah. You have to replace the actual canopy now, right?
That's a requirement of the proposed code. Right now, because they got the application in, they're subject to our current requirements. They would still have to replace trees, but the calculation would just be a little different.
Okay.
All right. Louis, anything else from staff?
Yeah, a couple of things I just want to touch on. I think we've already talked about some of the major concerns that staff has. The current zoning of these lots is SR1, and those are a minimum of 15,000 square foot lots. As part of the update to the zoning code and the zoning map, these lots on the east side of North Hankey are proposed to be zoned R1, which is a minimum 1 acre lot. These are large lots, wooded, kind of have a different character than some of our other more suburban residential districts. But the way the new code is structured, it says that if you submit an application prior to the adoption of the new code, then that application can proceed under the requirements of the code at that time. So they are within their rights to request the subdivision plat for these existing minimum lot area and setback requirements. We talked about sanitary sewers and stormwater and tree preservation. There are, I believe, 9 items that need to be addressed that are mentioned in the staff report. Some of those are fairly minor plan corrections. Some of those are a little more significant regarding the stormwater and the sanitary sewers. Due to the number of kind of outstanding issues, I would recommend that the board or the commission table this item so that we can work with the applicant to address these remaining issues and then bring it back to you hopefully next month when these have been addressed.
I was just about to say that, the recommendation for tabling until we get some of this done.
Agree.
Anyone else have anything for staff? Any questions for staff? All right, then we will move to the public hearing portion. Again, if you want to speak, raise your hand or press star 9 if you're on the phone. And Barry, I think you had something you wanted to ask, so go ahead.
Regarding the 1290 North.
And I'm sorry, Barry, just so I don't get in trouble with the boss. We need your name and your address.
Very good. Thank you, Pearson. Yes, Barry Beresford. And my address is 8 Sailor Court. And my property directly abuts the 1290 Hankey Road property on the north side. And I'll be brief here. I have 4 points I want to make. Number one, we purchased our home here a little over a year ago, and we were very happy that it was a single family dwelling in existence on that property behind us. So it came as a bit of a shock that there's a plan being proposed to put in 5 units. And concern would be what might be the adverse impact on our property value. One of the questions that exists is certainly what would be the quality of the homes that would be that would actually be constructed there, and would it be consistent with the types of homes, the property values that exist on North Hankey currently, and also on Regatta Bay, which several lots, mine included, back onto that property. If the plan were to proceed, 2 things. Number one, I'm not a big fan of retention ponds. I've had some experience with them on an adjacent property, and they are, at least in my experience, big magnets for mosquitoes. And we don't need any more of that around here. And then my last comment is if the proposal does proceed, would it be possible to have the developer put in privacy trees along the property edge, certainly adjacent to properties that are close to the 5 that are being built there? So that's the end of my comments. I'm concerned, and it would be my hope that this project does not proceed. Certainly, having this as a single family plot, which it's been since 1960, I'm in favor of it staying that way. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
All right, thanks, Barry. Anyone else? Louis, any raised hands?
Yes,
Pam?
Don Burns.
Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm just kind of new to Zoom here. So
Yeah, go ahead, Don.
yeah, first of all, again,
And Don, I'm
Don
sorry,
Burns.
just a reminder for everybody that speaks, I need your name and your address before just so we can capture that for the minutes. Thanks.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do that. My name is Don Burns. I live at 456 Fox Trail Drive. So I'm down around the corner there from Barry. And I got this letter. So, not much detail in the letter that tells me exactly really what they're planning to do, how they plan to put the 5 lots in there. I assume it's probably similar to what was done over there on Palomino Ridge, which is across from that area. But I moved into this house probably back in, July of 1998. One of the biggest attractions to come on the Lake St. Louis from our family, because we were moving back from Ohio, was all the trees, the greenery of Lake St. Louis. and a lot of trees, and we see a lot of good wildlife kind of drifting in and out of the trees. And it's just a nice tree line that kind of backs behind our house. Probably a great selling feature. And I say selling feature because we've been here now and we're thinking about selling the property. And I have that same concern that Barry mentioned about what the impact is to property value to everybody on the houses that are bordering up on this plan. And the other concern I got is, and Barry mentioned it too, was retention ponds. Same thing. I've lived in homes in Florissant before moving to Ohio and then back, and a lot of issues with retention ponds not being taken care of, or the attraction of mosquitoes and other issues that can impact property value if the area degrades over time, which they tend to do. I'm not, again, lack of detail on the development. I'm not sure what the plan is to the low-lying creek area. You know, we have the trees. It's a low-lying area. Matter of fact, the home that lives there right now or resides there right now, you know, has a septic tank, and we had issues with the septic tank draining and causing all kinds of odors over the years, and actually draining down into that creek into the lake. It sounds like they're going to do something that improves on that, but I sure would like to see a heck of a lot more detail on what they plan to do with the water treatment and how they plan to manage that better, and how they try to plan to keep that out of that low-lying creek area. And are they talking about clearing out 70% of the tree line? Is that coming over to the other side, on the Fox Trail side of that low-lying creek area? Because I sure would like to keep some of that tree line there just from the privacy standpoint. I actually would be interested in buying a chunk of that land just to maintain privacy. So not much more to comment, just reiterating what Barry stated. I thought he stated it well, and I kind of support a lot of his concerns. Just very much concerned, especially with the lack of detail on the development. So again, that's all I have. Again, as Barry said, I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
All right, thanks, Don. I saw Pam with her hand up.
I apologize.
Go ahead, Pam.
I couldn't find the formal raise hand button, but my name is Pam Feast. I am a resident at 7 Palomino Ridge Court. I moved here about 1.5 years ago, and I specifically chose this property due to the tree line and the quietness of the farm next door. There are horse trailers that go up and down the very dangerous road that we currently live on. I almost was hit head on by a horse trailer at that steep curve within the last month. I also walk on that road. There are no shoulders on that road. So I have great concerns around construction equipment coming and going, vehicles from an additional 5 homes coming and going with no shoulders with the current road condition. I think that definitely would need to be addressed. I have fears of, for the 1 to 2 year of development time this may take, there will be construction vehicles parked throughout our cul-de-sac because there simply would be no place else for those vehicles to park here on Palomino Ridge, creating, in my opinion, a lot of inconvenience and potentially safety concerns for the current residents. Second point I want to make is my home was assessed at a $400,000 value. I am very uncomfortable with the lack of plan in terms of the type of home that would be built on these lots at this point. In my opinion, they would need to be a $400,000 value. Otherwise, they're going to impact the property values of everything in our immediate area. Final point is, again, just our small cul-de-sac very much has a garden village feel to it because of the trees, because of the farm property that it abuts. It simply is a more farm and rural feel and community, to where an additional subdivision will take away from everything that I value about the home that I purchased here. So I have deep concerns about this going through. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, thanks, Pam. Louis, any other folks waiting?
Sasha's iPad.
Yes, good evening. My name is Sasha Ott, and I'm at 458 Fox Trail. And I am I heard Barry and Don speak just a little while ago. I'm actually in between them. And I too have concerns regarding this project. I'm not going to repeat everything because I pretty much share all the sentiments that they stated. However, the 5 lots that are going to be on this property, when you compare those size lots to all of the other lots that are on that subdivision, it's a significant change, and aesthetically it'll be completely different. And my concern also is with the trees. I understand 70% of them will be removed, and they will be replaced to some degree, but it is a major concern, the privacy and anything that'll happen there with the creek. We've certainly had some issues with that in the past. But that's, I do share all the sentiments of my fellow neighbors. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Louis, anything else?
No more hands raised.
This is Jim. If you give me a second, I don't think I can address everything, but I just would like to mention these 5 proposed lots, the square footage, the lot size will be essentially comparable to Fox Hill Road, to all of those 460, 458, 456. They're all going to be the same 15,000 square foot minimum. So you're looking at that type of development. That also happens to be about twice as big as Palomino's lots. So essentially you're going to have twice as much lot per house, roughly. So the density should be similar to the adjacent neighbors. And yes, currently we are showing 70% of the tree canopy, and it is noted and is known that a landscape plan, tree preservation plan will have to be created for final approval. So all of these things are actually, real and not preliminary any longer. But they're planting additional trees in the rear is something that is very regular. I very much expect that, even if it's not required. I expect that. And the tree removal, there is a sheet in our plan. So we are not attempting to remove trees all the way back to the property line if we don't absolutely have to. But the majority of the trees behind these homes, with the exception of lot 8, are on this property. That's all.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else waiting to make a comment? All right, then we will move to the business portion of this. I will entertain a motion, and I would say that it's been suggested that tabling might be one of those motions, so I will leave that to the commission as the direction they'd like to follow.
I move to table a requested preliminary subdivision plat with conditions 1 through 9 listed in the city staff report.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on tabling?
I agree.
All right, all in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is tabled till our next meeting. Jim, thank you for your presentation, and those of you that attended to speak, I appreciate you guys joining the call as well. Our next item on the agenda is commission and staff comments. Any commissioners with any comments other than Happy New Year?
Happy New Year and try to stay safe. It's getting ugly. Stay home.
That is true. Anything from staff, Louis?
No, we'll see you next month, February 4th.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I have
Hey, Pearson, this is Barry. Will the passcode be the
motion,
same
second, all
for
in
next
favor?
month?
I'm sorry, was that Barry?
Will the Zoom passcode be the same for next month's meeting?
No, I think it's a new one every
Yeah, it will be a different one, Barry, and that you won't receive another mailed notice. But if you go to the city's website, you can either find the information on the city calendar, or if you go to the Planning and Zoning Commission website, it'll be posted there as well.
Okay, it'll have the passcode.
Yes, it will.
Thank you.
Just for everybody that's on February 4th, right, Louis?
That's right. Same
Yeah.
time.
All right. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are.